I want you to stay with me for at least one more segment because I've got to show you a birthday card that a couple of my sons gave me. They thought it was funny. They're still in their rooms without supper, breakfast, dinner. Oh, you want to mock your father in a birthday card? Oh, I'll show you what it's all about, Alfie. Stay with me because it's really funny. No, they're not in their rooms. I laugh so hard. All right. Ted Cruz, in an interview recently, said that it is the right of people to commit suicide. All right, we're going to play this clip. Just listen to the audio of it, okay? Listen.
I assume you're not for assisted suicide because that's not towards life, or do you think people have a right to?
I don't support doctors being engaged in the business of death. I think if a person chooses to take his or her own life, they have the right to do that. I don't support doing that. But I think each of us is a free and autonomous human being.
There you have it. The right. It's a person's right. Now I want you to grasp how significant this is. Ted Cruz is a lawyer. He's a constitutionalist. He understands the word right. And by the way, he's a Christian. He understands the theocentric, the God-centered nature of law. That true law comes from God. Rights come from God. Our Declaration of Independence spelled it out right. It said that the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness comes from God. We are endowed by certain rights from our Creator. A right has to come from God. It can't come from the government. It comes from God. The government is in place to secure and defend those rights. No one has the right to commit self-murder. He could have said someone has the ability to do it. But the issue is not whether or not a doctor is involved in dealing death. The issue is that no one has the right to commit self-murder, to commit suicide. It is what ancient theologians call a mortal sin. All right? Many poems, movies, things have been written over the years, over the centuries, talking about people in hell who took their own life. For centuries, the church would not even allow people to have a Christian burial who took their own life. It was considered so grave. Self-murder is so grave. G.K. Chesterton, that self-murder is the rejection of all women. When somebody kills one woman out of rage, he commits a murder. But when he commits self-murder, he rejects all women. He rejects the whole human race. It's just so serious a crime against God and man and oneself. All right? And Ted Cruz said that people have a right? A right? I heard this yesterday and I was so dumbfounded. I was so flabbergasted. I literally could not believe my ears. But it's true. Everybody makes mistakes. Everyone messes up. I don't agree with everything Ted Cruz says. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump says. One of my sons is named after President Reagan. And there are things that President Reagan, policy decisions he made that I don't agree with. Anyway, my hope, let's just shift gears for a second here. There is a sense of inevitability that is crowding in on the Republican establishment, okay? There are people, a frantic little cadre that are still talking about running a third-party candidate. It may happen. I know ballot access. No third-party candidate at this stage of the game is going to get on all 50 ballots. It's not going to happen. Therefore, they can't be elected. Therefore, the only reason that someone would run as a third-party conservative would be to ensure Hillary Clinton's victory. That's it. And I get that. I get that. I have been involved in movements in the past that sought to deny people the presidency because it represented so much treachery and evil within the Republican Party that it would be the end of the pro-life cause, for example. If certain candidates were elected as Republicans, it would mean that the pro-life movement no longer had a home in the Republican Party, and therefore the unborn babies had no natural political constituency, no political clout to make it a crime to kill them. So I get it. The problem is Donald Trump is the only one who said that a woman should be punished criminally once child killing is made illegal again, once abortion is made illegal again. So he doesn't fit the threshold. He doesn't fit the standard of why somebody would, in fact, run as a third. I know that I'm almost out of time here, but I got to finish this point and then go on. So this group of conservative Republicans that are frantic right now, they have to be set aside. I hope that they don't run a third-party candidate, but I think that they're not going to cause Trump to lose, even if they do. Third-party candidates, with the exception of Ross Perot in recent times, generally get under 1% of the vote. That could be a margin to cause Trump's defeat, but not likely. So, but that aside, there's a certain level of resignation that is happening right now with the political establishment, the GOP establishment. Like, okay, this is it. He's going to be the nominee. And so one by one, they're going to start to come to him. They are. They're going to try and make nice. Now, Trump needs to unite the party. He does, to win the presidency. It will help. But he also needs to have a long memory. I can only hope that he, his family, his advisors around him do not try and bring McConnell, for example, into their orbit, or Jeb Bush, or Lindsey Graham. These are people who are a part of the problem. These are the ones that those of us in the Republican base have despised for years and years. These are the ones that we're so thrilled that Trump is throttling. So this inevitability that's happening is almost like stages of grief with the Republican establishment. It's almost like stages of grief. But I don't want Trump to try and bring consolation to them and bring them into his orbit. Just enough to win the presidency. And then after that, man, strip them of as much power as you can, Mr. Trump. Strip them of as much power as you can. I've got to take a break. I'm way over on time. When we come back, I will show you the card that a couple of my sons gave me, who are now facing life in a detention center for criminal youth.